Howdy, Possum Patty. And there's little Miss Stinky Winky Woos. Want to look at everybody? You gotta turn your head. There she is. And today's topic of discussion is, how do you use your Dollar Tree flowers in your junk journal? Come on along. When I buy these silk flowers at the Dollar Tree, what I have in mind, usually, well, once in a while, I stick them in a vase and I call that decorating. But usually I have other plans for them. I love to use these in my junk journals. These are some very springy daffodil-looking flowers. Now, we know they're not silk. They're faux silk flowers. I'm a little biased. I don't like plastic flowers very much, but these ones that are made out of material, you know, I see there can be uses for them. So what I do first when I get them is I pull them right off the stem like that. They come right off, and there's still this plastic center. Now, it's really hard to put it in a journal with this big plastic thing on it. So you can either cut the back off, or what I do is I just pull the plastic thing right out and toss that right away into the trash. Well, mostly so the cat doesn't get it. And I work with the petals that are left over. Now let me show you some old journals. This is an altered composition notebook, and I did nothing to the cover on this because I just love the botanical and the dragonflies and the insects. And I believe this was my first first altered notebook. And I had like no idea what to do to a page. So this was my very first attempt, January 16th, 21. And I put in a piece of Happy Mail. This is an original watercolor painting by a nature journaling friend of mine in Pennsylvania. And I used the envelope, and I did a little stamping, and I did some Happy Mail lettering there. But as you can see, I still have the original, you know, notebook paper in the background there, and it gets covered up more and more as I go along until it completely disappears, and the page gets more complicated as we go along. Now, this is the page I want to show you. See, I made the leaves out of scrapbook paper, and then I took the flower with both parts of it. I have flowers all over the table because I'm working with them like that, and I glued it down, and I put a little bling in the center. Now, it does add a little puffiness to the page, but absolutely no weight at all because, you know, these things are very light. So I love it. I just love how that looks. So that is one page I use those on. That was the first one that came to mind because I love my daffodils. And then I believe I bought a pack of blue flowers. Yeah, I could see it poking out already. For my boho journal. It's not really a boho journal, it's a kitty journal, but, you know, I like to say boho. And on this page you can see I took the blue flowers. I did the same thing. I took out the center, although I put in a plastic sprig there, and I did use the leaf from the flower stem itself. And then I just put some bling in the center of them. And here, these are like blue Gerber daisies or something, but you can see I've got two on the page there. This one I left the center because I think I cut off the nib on the back because I like the fuzzy yellow center, and I've got one up there too. So I love how that looks. Get my peacock on there. So those are two things that I did inside a journal with plastic flowers. Sometimes I just go ahead and pull them all off and stick them in a baggie. Oh, these are supposed to be hydrangeas. I don't know where that came from. Oh wait, there's two in here. Daisies. I think the blue ones were the daisies. Oh, and larkspur. Wow. So yeah, I bought a bunch of blue flowers. And I pulled them off. Some of them still have the back on it, see, because I like that yellow fuzzy part. So I would just cut off that green part right there on the back, right there. So I have a bag of blue left over. Looks like I bought 3 sprigs of blue, so I have a lot of blue. Miscellaneous. Got some pink ones in here. And some white ones. And then there was a couple of these rose gold poinsettias from a Christmas. They're popping everywhere. From a Christmas bunch that I bought. Now you could take this apart, or you can do whatever you want with it. You can use these or something else. Doesn't have to be Christmas. That's a really pretty color. And then also this netting one. If you cut this netting one just right, it kind of looks like a butterfly. Look at this. You can get a butterfly out of that. Put a little thing in the middle. Ooh, these could be fairy wings. Oh my gosh, fairy wings. Cut this right down the middle, and look at that. Fairy wings. Oh, and that was on the center of this poinsettia. So you never know what you can make with these things. You could probably use these petals too to make fairy wings. And then I have this bunch here, which I haven't pulled all apart yet. I do have bits and pieces of everything all over the table because I have been furiously working on my, you got it, my mushroom fairy journal, which is behind me. And boy, did this take me a long time. This took me a long time. So I started with this one. I was working yesterday. I believe I got 2 done. Maybe I got these 2 done too. And this one I layered up the white with the pink, and then I've got some sequins, and I've got a little crystal gem there. These I put beads in the middle. And then I'm thinking, why should I stick to the pink ones? Let's get out some other colors, because I'm thinking, you know, the fairies are kind of yellow and green. I've got a little bit of blue going on down here with the ribbon. So I took one of the daffodils apart and I layered it with the pink flower. And that one also has a little crystal. And then I took the inside of the daffodil and I layered it with some pink petals. And that one has a gold bead and some sequins. And then I took the bottom of the yellow daffodil and I folded it up to make it look like a different kind of flower. Right there. And then at this point is when I got out the blue ones. So there's a little pink one there, layered with another pink one, but it has a little blue around it. And then I took one of these pink ones and I folded it up like it's a little bud. So at the end of the branch there's a little flower bud. And I put one down there too. And then I layered the daffodil parts with some of the blue daisy parts right there. And that one also has a gold bead on the inside. And just a pink one, and then I layered the blue and the pink together again here. Except for I did a little bit different than that one. I took this daisy one and I cut the petals a little bit shorter. So you can see them under there. So I just cut it down a little bit because I wanted a smaller flower there. So, oh, and then I added, this has nothing to do with the Dollar Tree flowers, but then I added this little bug. This is coming off of the panel that I got the frogs off of. So it's like a ladybug, but it's blue, and I put it up there with a leaf. And then I cut 2 little flowers off of that panel, and I glued it in there because I didn't want to put a big flower in there because I didn't want to hide the fairies. So I may say at this point that this side of the mushroom is finished, and I just worked really hard on making all these flowers. Now, what did I learn from my experience today? And when I got down to my very last flower of the day, I figured it out. I was trying to put the flower together while sewing it onto the page. And you can see where I'm sewing them on. And when I got down to the last one, it had several pieces and it was a little bit complicated. And I'm like, well, why don't I sew all the flower parts together and then sew it to the page? So I'm changing my mode of operation here. Instead of trying to do it all at one time, I'm going to make the flower first and then sew it to the page. So let me just take you on a tour of the back of the journal, because basically this is all I'm going to share in my video today, was how I use the Dollar Tree flowers. And I'm sure you can come up with ways of putting these on tags and journal cards and other things besides the journal page itself and the cover of the journal. But if you'd like to share something, please put it in the comments below. Now, I not only sewed on all these flowers today, I was busy working on the back. So let me share that with you right now. And there she is. You remember I was making the door, and the little hinges are made out of bark, and I have some stitching there. And then I had the doily. Well, I decided that since this was a fairy door, that the doily around the door needed some magic. So I sewed little crystals all around on the doily. And then I said, oh, stars. It has to have stars. So then I sewed on some gold sequin stars. I figured I might as well stick to the sequins because I have a sequin butterfly and sequins in the center of the flowers. And then I said, oh, there's stars. If there's stars, there has to be a moon. So I have this little holographic moon, and I did put a little bit of that netting there behind the moon just to make it stand out. And it is the same netting that I'm using on the inside of the journal also. So what I've just done, and I was waiting for it to dry, was glue on the vine. So I've already sewed this down to the page with the machine. And so it was ready for the vine. So I glued the vine on. And now the only thing I have to do is make the flowers for the back of the journal. Put a couple flowers down here too. And I might put a little bird up there. There is some birds on this panel. There's a little yellow one right there. There's a little pink one right there. So I might cut out one of those birds. I did put some stitching around that little bug. So I'll probably put some stitching around the bird too. Now, my plan is to finish this tomorrow. I hope I can get this journal cover finished tomorrow. But this has been quite the project. And I really appreciate the people who are taking the time to check out every step of the journey with me, because this has taken me several days. But as you can see, I just keep putting more details and more details. And I just think it is super, super fun. So now I am going to do some more work. Oh, maybe should I show you how I put those flowers together? Well, let me put one together for you. Okay, so I have flowers all over the table. Here's a pretty yellow one, and you can mix any of the colors up together. Like I showed you, I just pull that plastic piece off and throw it away. So I've got white, yellow, pink. That would be an interesting one. That would be a pretty big one. But we can put a big one up in the corner over there. Blue, oh, blue, yellow, and pink. Just put all the colors together, right? So I was using regular thread. The roll is almost finished. The spool is almost empty, I should say. The spool is almost empty. regular thread, but I'm doubling it up. Somewhere I have a little needle. I had to find a tiny needle because so the eye can't be very big if you want it to go through the beads. Okay, so I've just, wow, there's some thunder rattling my window right now. I better get this done. I've got my needle threaded. I've got my petals decided on, and all over the table are spread sequins. So I want a colorful one. Let's see if I got any colorful ones over here. Yeah, like a nice colorful one. So what I've been doing is sometimes the larger petals have a big hole there. So I'm sticking the needle through right to one side of the hole. I don't need all those dregs there. Okay. And then the yellow one. Again, I'm going to go to the side of the hole and not through the hole because the hole is pretty big. And then when I go back down through the flower, I'll try to grab it on the other side. And then my pink one has a tiny hole, so I'm going to go right through that hole there, like that. And I'm going to start with this brightly colored sequin at the bottom. And then I'm going to put one of these little cup sequins just to give it dimension. And so you can imagine doing this while it was attached to the, here's my little box of beads. I've been using these little green beads over here. So let me grab one of those. So there's the bead. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 6 pieces. Now I'm going to go around the outside of the bead, through the little sequin, through the big sequin, through the middle of the pink. Now I'm looking to see where the green thread is on this yellow here, so I want to go on the opposite side of that. And for this blue on the opposite side of that. And pull this all together. Like, oops. Oops. Oops, it's jumping out of my hand. Okay. Like that. Now you can make these as colorful or as coordinated as you want to. I'm just going to make a knot here. I'll go through twice. We just had some thunder and now I can hear the rain coming down. And there it is. Simple, fun, cheap. You can make a lot of flowers with a couple of sprigs from the Dollar Tree. So then I just take it and I'm going to sew it right up there in that corner. Gotta watch out, I got netting there. Maybe I'll go through the bottom layer of the flower. Or actually what I did on the other flowers after I attached them, I did sew them on, but then I put some glue. A little dab of glue underneath them. Just to reinforce the paper, because this is just brochure paper here where the all those stitches are. And I've decided how I'm going to work on the inside of the covers, and I'm going to cut this shape out and I'm going to collage it, then I'll glue the shape on, and then I won't have to worry about it, you know, being so lumpy and trying to glue things down. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm just going to do this again, like that. This didn't take long at all. This could be a hashtag Sunday Snappy Snippet, couldn't it? Carol at Crinkled Path is the hostess for Sunday Snappy Snippet. So there is my Sunday Snappy Snippet. I think so. It just took me a second to do that, to show you how I use these. And how I make them. And see, then I just took a little glue. I know I sewed it down, but in my journal, in my composition notebook, I just glued these down with a drop of glue in the center. But they weren't as complicated as this one with sequins and beads. I just glued it down and put a little piece of bling there. All right, so there it is. And I want to thank you for coming along today for this Sunday Snappy Snippet. Happy junk journaling. Bye-bye.